Hey guys, quick report here, and thought this as I was putting this together. I saw this sign. I thought it was pretty funny. Radiation area: do not enter if pregnant or possibly pregnant. Because who knows these days, right? we don't. They don't even know who can get pregnant anymore these days, let alone whether you are or not. So thought that was a little funny, but in any case, what I'm about to share is not so funny. But they've taken it a next step with the radiation warnings. And I thought the other reason I not because it was kind of funny when they say possibly pregnant, like okay, but this may actually tie into what Jesus is talking about here when he's saying how dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women. Take a look at this. Turn this off. So Jesus says how dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. What I'm about to share with you will explain what I'm talking about. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. How dreadful it will be in those days for pregnant women and nursing mothers. There will be great distress in the land and wrath against this people. Okay? So what's happening, guys, is they've taken it to the next level, from doing the video, the radiation warning video and the nuke warning video that they did. Now they've upped it, and now they're putting up notifications in local shopping malls as well, warning of nuclear war emergencies and telling you what to do in the case of radiation. Now, who's going to know? Who's going to even know, right, whether there's radiation or not? You'd have to have like a radiation meter. That's probably the next thing. That's going to be the next hot seller. Hey, Annie, what's happening? How's it going? Just a quick video here, just give you guys a little update here. But who's going to even know if there's radiation? You'd have to have a radiation detector on your person, which they're probably going to start selling. That's going to be a new market, like the mask market. There's going to be a whole new radiation detector market that's just going to boom over all this. And it's the new way to keep everybody scared and afraid, keep everybody locked down. They could just say, oh, yeah, there's a radiation emergency. Everybody get inside. So it says if a radiation emergency occurs, people can take action to protect themselves, their loved ones, and their pets. Notice what the action is. Lockdown. Lockdown. It's always lockdown. Get inside. Get inside. Get inside. The Menlo Park Mall in Edison, New Jersey is just one of many large shopping malls in upscale areas publicly warning people about what to do if a nuclear bomb hits. Hey, Donnie, what's happening? They have been told by government to begin warning people because nuclear war with Russia is not only a possibility, it has become a likelihood. Guys, a likelihood. I mean, since when do they talk about nuclear war like, yeah, it's probably going to happen, It's just get used to it. It's Nagasaki and Hiroshima all over again in New York. And, it's really going to be hitting the military bases. That's really where they're going to be coming after. They're doing this in the public places so that people get scared and they see it. But really, it's going to come down to the nuclear zone. And he says, silent weapons for quiet wars. That's true. That's what radiation is. Yeah, that's a silent weapon. That would wipe a lot of people out just with a invisible radiation to bring about radiation sickness. And like Jesus talked about, how dreadful it would be for pregnant women in those days, and I was thinking, well, maybe he was referring to that, because you think, why pregnant women? But when they talk about radiation, it specifically affects the fetus. It affects the child inside with radiation and can kill them. So, I mean, obviously it affects the people too, but the little babies are like basically non-protected. They've got nothing against the radiation. And Donnie says in continuous prayer to control, they want to control with fear, right? Amen. We got to pray continually. That's right. We got to fight the devil with prayer. And so they've put up these signs in shopping malls in New Jersey, of all places, because that's near New York, where they're threatening all this. The horrifying reality that will be a nuclear blast is becoming so likely now over the Russia, Ukraine, NATO troubles in Eastern Europe that governments and now private sector industries are warning people about what to do when a nuclear bomb goes off. Not like there's much you can really do other than, yes, get inside. That's true. You do need to get into and specifically concrete buildings like a shopping mall. The center of a shopping mall would probably be a good place to be, actually. But you want to be in a fallout shelter, ideally, that's designed for that. It says, in a radiation emergency, you may be asked to get inside a building and take shelter for a period of time. So they're prepping you. They're getting you conditioned so that when they start saying, get inside, everybody starts running. They start running for the hills. I mean, if they thought trying to tell people they're going to get a cold was going to get them scared and running indoors. Hey, Beth, they're definitely going to think that, a nuclear bomb hitting and radiation poisoning, that's definitely going to make people run for the hills. And again, it's one of those silent weapons, like Annie said, that you can't see. You don't know it's there. It just sneaks in and gets you. And so it's one of those ones they can really use to fearmonger with, because you can't prove whether it's there or not, except with a radiation meter. So if you have a radiation detector, that's one thing you can do better than testing for the bug, so to speak. You can actually probably detect this better than you could that, because that was always kind of like these tests. They would do these tests that were proven that you could test a guava and it would test positive, sort of thing. So it wasn't really effective at really testing anything. But when it comes to radiation, that's pretty clear cut, I would think. It's not going to be compared to anything else. So in any case, they say it's called sheltering in place. Get to the middle of the building of a basement, away from doors and windows. Bring pets inside. Staying inside can reduce your exposure to radiation. Close and lock windows and doors. Take a shower or wipe exposed parts of your body with a damp cloth. Drink bottled water and eat food of sealed containers. Right. And even sealed containers you can obviously get into, but so they're basically getting you back to the lockdown. See, it's another way to bring in the lockdown. So they could use this and say, oh, there's still radiation out there. You can't go outside yet. No, the radiation hasn't died down yet. And you're like, that's funny. My radiation meter doesn't seem to be working. Oh no, it's still out there. It's still out there. So, not to say it's not going to happen. I'm just saying it's another classic way to control a populace and get them to lock down. These signs in a new public service announcement from the New York City Office of Emergency Management, which came out earlier this week, are all instructing people that if a nuclear bomb goes off, get inside. The reason this effort is underway is that government knows it has caused such terrible troubles with Russia over the Ukraine situation that it's now likely we're going to be attacked by Russia with nuclear bombs. Right. Because of us. Or not us, I shouldn't say us. I'm not going to include myself in that. The wicked cabal. Because of the wicked cabal that has stolen the governments worldwide and is basically bringing about this tyranny. They want to bring order out of chaos. So they want to create the chaos first by bringing in the Third World War. And then out of that, they have this warped, twisted idea that they're going to build some utopian society, which we know when it's being built by rats, that's not going to be any society anybody wants to live in. While the first trouble is, of course, that this is a problem of our government's own making, the second major problem is that the advice is utterly yes. They tell people to get inside. Good advice if there's anything left standing to actually get inside of. Russia uses the Yars intercontinental ballistic missile to launch nuclear attacks. Those missiles are equipped with an 800 kiloton warhead. The blast map below is a scientific model from nuclearsecrecy.org showing the actual scientifically modeled blast effects of a single 800 kiloton nuclear bomb air bursting over New York City. So basically it covers all of Manhattan. I mean, Manhattan is just gone. Manhattan's gone. Now, you got to keep this in mind. They're not necessarily looking to bomb Manhattan. They might want to keep Manhattan for themselves. They're looking to bomb the military bases. So don't be worried so much as if you live in New York. I mean, yes, they may do it, but it's more likely if you live next to a military base, especially one that is coastal or has its own nuclear base involved, or is a major base of some kind. That's what they're going to come after the most. Let's keep going. The inner smaller area in the yellow center show the initial blast area, all of which is vaporized. Absolutely nothing will be left. No people, no buildings, no vehicles, nothing. The next area is a grayish circular area. Everything in this area will be physically knocked down and on fire. Not even the strongest concrete and steel buildings will remain standing, and everything, all of it, will be on fire. The next circular area of the outer ridges of blast circle will be thermal damage. Things in this area may be severely damaged or knocked down, but some structures might remain standing as they erupt in flames. As for people in this area, anyone who was outside and who see the bright white flash will have third-degree burns all over their body. Okay, so that basically that whole circle is done. Even in that outer circle, you're gonna have third-degree burns all over your body. Not to mention radiation poisoning. The final light gray area is where there will be light blast damage. Light blast damage. Okay, so I guess they're saying that most structures will remain standing, but windows are likely broken. People in the area will be injured from flying blast debris. So Newark, all this whole area in here in the Hudson Bay and everything is going to be totally wiped out. As an example, the signs then advise people if you were outside when the blast hit, take off all clothes, shower, and shampoo to wash the radiation off immediately. Trouble is there won't be any running water. Yeah, so you're going to jump in the Hudson, the radioactive Hudson, and wash off. The water will be ruptured from the blast, and the powers of the water pumps will all be cut off for miles. But wait, there's more. Idiocy. The signs tell people stay tuned to local media and don't go outside until authorities tell you it's safe. There won't be any local media. Exactly. So what they're going to do is they're going to lock you down, and then they're going to go door to door and drag you off to camps, to make sure you're not radioactive. It's for your own safety. It will all be blown up, all the TV and radio transmitters. And in fact, they could fake it. They could say, well, there was an explosion. It was minor, but the radiation is massive, and it's going everywhere. So you better stay inside until we come door to door and inspect you and, in our hazmat suits and take you away, for your safety. So they could do a whole thing this way and never even have a nuclear bomb. It could all just be another ruse. There won't be any cell phone service. The towers will all be knocked down. The transmitters fried by electromagnetic faults. And electric will be out. There won't be any internet service. All the internet lines will be blown up, and the wireless all offline from EMP and no electricity. Yet even though the advice is utterly useless, the signs have gone up anyway. Right, so they're kind of... See, it's all social conditioning. This is all like theater, where you put out the signs. It's kind of like coming soon to a theater near you, to a security theater near you. Here's the next thing. Now, it's not to say that they might not actually do a nuclear bomb, but you got to think they want to salvage this stuff. They don't want to destroy all the resources of America and make it polluted for, millennia where they can't use it. So it's more logical that they're working out behind the scenes deals to do an EMP strike. Like it says here, all the internet lines will be blown from the wireless from an EMP or no electricity. And government doesn't do things like this for no reason. They're putting up PSAs and asking large retailers to put these signs up because government knows what's coming. Well, right, or government is putting on a show to make you think that's what's coming so that you're conditioned, so that when the time comes, you run for the hills like good little rats as they see you, like cockroaches. That's the way they look at you. That's what they think of you. So they want you to run like cockroaches into, and run for cover. Which is interesting because what's actually going to happen is that Jesus is going to return, and people are going to run for cover, which is kind of interesting. Just to kind of close with that thought, is that in Revelation 6, everybody runs for cover, right? It says there was a great earthquake. Now the earthquake could be a nuclear explosion. It says, I watched as the sixth seal was opened. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. And the stars in the sky fell to the earth as figs dropped from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. I mean, that sounds like a nuclear blast. A nuclear blast would do that. Then the kings of the earth, the princes, the generals, the rich, the mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hid in caves and among the rocks of the mountains. Because that's all you're going to have. Like it said in that article, you're not going to have a house to go run and hide in because your house just got decimated. So you're going to be hiding in the caves and the mountains, trying to avoid radiation and avoid death. They called to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it or stand? So very intriguing indeed. Is there a tie-in here? And will this... Will one coincide with the other, where God gets his people out right before the nuclear blast goes off and everybody's hiding in the rocks and mountains, and God is there in the heavens and they see his face and they're hiding from him? So something to consider there. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I'll probably do, if I can, I'll probably do a couple others today if I find anything else that's interesting. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. Annie, Beth, Donnie, good to see you guys. And I will catch you at the next video. Talk to you soon.